Hey, what's up? My name is Jonathan Fink, and this is my free audiobook series on YouTube. Up next, we have The Pokemon Gods Are Real, the preface and the introduction. In 2018, I published my first book, The Baseball Gods Are Real, a true story about baseball and spirituality. It was part memoir, part spiritual reckoning, a reflection on my first 42 years of life, the game I loved, and the midlife crisis that launched me into yoga, meditation, and a search for something deeper. That book was never supposed to become a series. What began as a personal story slowly evolved into something much larger. The more I examined baseball through a spiritual lens, the more I noticed its hidden patterns, karmic justice, impossible timing, and mysterious synchronicities. I called them the baseball gods. The more I wrote, the more real they became. Over time, I realized the phenomenon wasn't limited to baseball. Every great hobby, game, and obsession develops its own mythology, its own saints and sinners, its own relics, rituals, miracles, and prophecies. Communities gather around them like congregations. People devote time, money, emotion, and identity to them. They become belief systems. And then I looked at Pokemon. At first glance, Pokemon appears to be a children's game built around colorful creatures and pieces of cardboard. But anyone who has truly lived inside the hobby knows better. Pokemon is not sustained by trading cards alone. It is sustained by faith. Faith in the pull, faith in the chase, faith that the next pack might contain something magical. Faith that a tiny trading card can hold memory, meaning, status, nostalgia, and even destiny. I have seen collectors treat binders like sacred texts. I have seen adults relive childhood emotions through a single holographic card. I have watched live stream audiences react to pack openings with the intensity of religious ceremonies. I have seen conventions transform into pilgrimages. I have seen joy, greed, obsession, community, heartbreak, redemption, and wonder. That is why I wrote The Pokemon Gods Are Real. This book is not a price guide. It is not a history of the trading card game. It is not a book about investment strategy or collecting tactics. This book is about belief. It is about the invisible forces that keep millions of people returning to the hobby year after year, generation after generation. Like baseball, Pokemon has its gods. And whether they reveal themselves through a perfect pull, a miraculous comeback, a rediscovered childhood binder, or the strange timing of fate itself, their presence is undeniable to those who believe. Introduction. Every religion begins with a miracle. It is not always a burning bush or a voice from the heavens. Sometimes the miracle is smaller, stranger, more personal. A coincidence so improbable that believers immediately recognize it for what it truly is, a sign. On May 6th, 2026, the Pokemon gods revealed themselves inside a Major League Baseball clubhouse. The Los Angeles Angels were struggling. Shortstop Zach Neto had fallen into a brutal slump, hitless in his previous 18 at-bats. His confidence was fading. Baseball players are creatures of ritual and superstition, always searching for something to break the spell. A pair of new batting gloves, a different walk-up song, a lucky meal, anything to shift the energy. That morning, superstar center fielder Mike Trout texted Nito with an unusual proposal. Open Pokemon cards together. Not football cards, not baseball cards, Pokemon. And according to Nito, Trout made a prophecy. If they pulled a Charizard, Nito would hit a home run that night. To outsiders, it sounds ridiculous, childish even. But that is because outsiders fail to understand how faith works. Faith is not logical. Faith is emotional. Rituals give people hope. Hope changes energy. Energy changes outcomes. They opened the packs. They found Charizard. That night, both Trout and Nito homered in the Angels' victory over the Chicago White Sox. Trout went deep in the first inning. Nito followed later with a home run to left field, snapping out of his slump. After the game, Nito smiled, and during his post-game interview on the field, he thanked Charizard. Most people will call it coincidence. Believers know better. This is how religions survive. Through stories passed from person to person. Through rituals repeated until they become sacred. Through moments where luck and meaning collide so perfectly that people cannot help but believe something greater is involved. This is the world of Pokemon. People who have never opened a pack often misunderstand the hobby completely. They see cardboard, plastic slabs, grading companies, auction prices, and internet hype. But those are merely the surface level artifacts of something much deeper. Pokemon operates like a living mythology. It has relics and prophecies, saints and scammers, pilgrimages and temples, revered creatures, holy grails, origin stories, sacred numbers, economic booms and collapses. And above all else, it has believers. The chase for Charizard is not fundamentally different from ancient treasure hunters seeking divine relics. The emotions are the same: desire, hope, redemption, greed, wonder. Pokemon taps into something primal inside people, especially those searching for meaning, nostalgia, status, community, or escape. And unlike most religions, Pokemon's miracles can still be purchased at Target for $4.99 a pack. This book is about those miracles. It is about the invisible forces that cause millions of people, children and adults alike, to keep returning to the hobby year after year. It is about why a grown man can hold a holographic card and suddenly feel 8 years old again. It is about why collectors speak in myths, why live stream audiences erupt like congregations, why certain collectors feel cursed while others seem blessed. Most of all, it is about the realization that Pokemon was never merely a game. It became a religion. And for those willing to see it, the Pokemon gods are everywhere. End of introduction. Up next, Chapter 1, The Calling to Collect. If you enjoyed this chapter, please smash that like button. If you really enjoyed this chapter, please subscribe and catch my other books on audiobook, such as Spirits of the Gridiron and the Republic Baseball League. You guys take care. I appreciate you joining me. As always, God bless.